I am Thamin. Right next to me, got Memo here.
Evening, folks.
All right. Down in the corner, Woopnyo.
Hey,
And right below me here, got Arleeya.
hello everyone.
All right. So I tell you, is everyone excited? The day's finally here. I mean, just give everyone a brief what we've got coming up here. We finally got our hands on that dogfighter. We finally got hands on Arena Commander. Been enjoying that. And more news than we can pack in this weekend. We've got the Freelancer video and variants, and that's pushed Star Citizen into the next two pledge levels as far as tiers and millions of dollars. And we've got the results of the next Great Starship competition. And close to the end of the program, we've got pictures of the Retaliator that they've been working on. So, quite a bit to cover. Alright, folks. So, what did y'all think about? I mean, first here, one of the biggest things is, the dogfighter coming up and us getting our hands on it.
I got to blow shit up. Yeah.
Yeah, for the first couple builds they came out with, it was really tough for me to get in and play. But this last version that they just put out, where they've refined it somewhat, I have support for the joystick now that I'm using. The graphics, the visuals, the gameplay is more a me issue with hand-eye coordination, but I mean, it's a beautiful game. Absolutely beautiful. I can't hit anything, but it's pretty to look at.
It was fun to fly around. I didn't go into the combat section because the keyboard bindings are, they're not yet at that level to be able to change them to make it feel comfortable. So it was interesting.
Yeah.
Whoop.
And
Besides, you can blow shit up. You got anything else for us?
I can ram stuff. I think
Yeah,
need a
I
new
could
ship.
ram
This
stuff
Aurora's
too,
not
but it
that
didn't
big.
turn out well. It just knocked a chunk off my ship usually. I think I hit stuff more than that, and it seems awful tight in too. I'm constantly getting that you're reaching the border message or the limit or
Yeah.
of the simulation.
I
I
got
I
thought it
get
was
that a
bigger.
lot too.
Yeah,
the,
it wasn't as large as I thought it would be. I mean, there's the border.
there's
Well, it's a
only
simulation. It's not open space.
there's
So
only 8 crafts, 9 crafts at a time, maybe 10. I haven't gotten
yeah,
that far, so you only need so big of an area. I got more
you would
annoyed
think.
by you're overheating. You cannot shoot. You're overheating. That was annoying.
yeah, and that was one of the bugs they mentioned. Actually, was the 300 was constantly telling you the weapons were overheating, and they weren't.
I don't have the 300. I just got shot a lot. That's all.
Yeah, I could manage with missiles. That seemed pretty intuitive, and if you got a lock, you pretty well got a kill. But the other weapons, I couldn't. Hits were few and far between for me. But I do like the joystick support. I had a lot easier time with that than all the keybinds because there's just so many of them spread out across the keyboard. It's kind of hard for me to remember. This is here, that's there.
That will change
Yeah,
too.
I
That
noticed
will
like you could
change.
take the grab the sheet here. Ended up printing it off too, as well as what I needed.
Yeah, I
Um,
couldn't get any print screen to work with it because I tried that too, Thaman. What did you use to get that off there?
um, I downloaded the manual as a PDF, and I was able to finally.
Ah,
Then
Use
okay.
the
I printed the
manual.
page.
That's the last thing I would think of, honestly, though, Whoop, to actually look in the manual.
I can read.
I
Yeah,
can, but
I
I mean,
was
I'd
able
rather have
to.
someone explain it to me than actually do the work on my own.
Yeah, here I was able to see the weird thing is like the caps key. You can do some decoupling, but not totally. Like you can decouple the direction you're looking, but it doesn't decouple the actual safety where you can possibly black out. I still
See,
had
on
that
my
safety kicking in.
my joystick, the hat switch, you can flip all the views around just from the joystick. I mean, it's real. The way the joystick's laid out, it's very intuitive. I'm pretty sure I have the same one you do, Thaman. You need to give it a shot with that because the keys and the buttons are labeled. I mean, they do what they say they're going to do.
I'll give it a try. It didn't seem like that exact one was labeled. I did start with the mouse and keyboard. Found that easy to use. I do still need to give it more of a try with the joystick, and was was gonna, something held me back. I forget what.
I kept overshooting, and everywhere I would go with trying to use the mouse, I could never zero in. I would just, I would, move with the mouse, and it would go way past where I went, and I would pull back, and it would go way past on all sides. I'm not sure if that was just me, which
Maybe
is
that's probably
probably
your
just
graphics,
me,
man.
not the
It sounds like that's a
controls.
lag issue.
Yeah, it's almost like it was lagging. I would move,
Yeah.
and then it would start moving a couple seconds later, and I would
Well,
overshoot.
the way it is for the mouse, you have to move it in a certain direction so far, and then that's how far and faster that you're going to move it. You have to get the cursor to turn into a green diamond, like the square on its side, and that's when you know you're going to get a shot in. When it's
Yeah, I would.
circle, like it's going to hit maybe.
Yeah, I would see that green
Yeah,
diamond
that.
flash as I went through it and kept on going.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
mean,
that
I
was
know
the.
that, but with the joystick, it was a little easier for me to use.
Mhm.
But I still have trouble getting those other weapons beaded in. The guns, the missiles, that I got down pat, but you have a very limited supply of those, which for obvious reasons you would. And I had read they'd sent out an update about the multiplayer coming out. What's the word on that?
250 people started with it, the ones that they could rely on for better input. And I think within a week or two, we might start getting a trickle.
All right.
Hey, here's one thing I'll show you guys. For a moment, I was showing they do have a video out there, at least for the keyboard and mouse. I assume for the joysticks too, but I only saw the one for the keyboard and mouse, so I was just flashing that for the viewers. And it kind of goes into it a little bit. Um, as far as the rest, yeah, there was a big patch recently. I'm
Big
still not
patch.
one of the ones
7 gig.
in the multiplayer yet, and there was something which I should bring up from the notes here that was mentioned when folks are here. This was an explanation I heard on the RSI site from Seraph, the irate pirate. Your citizenship number is based upon when you created an account on the RSI website, not when you actually pledged. Thus, unfortunately, someone who created an account early on but didn't pledge until much later has a lower citizen number than others who pledged, who might have pledged before them, like on the Kickstarter, but didn't have the website set up yet. So that is one way where maybe someone could get a little out of order, but worth bringing
It's
up.
okay.
I
also
can
heard
show
that,
you.
Go ahead.
I was going to show you. I'm going to flash some pictures up here too. This is the worst I've wrecked a Hornet. You see pictures of it. The game is scenic, but you see my Hornet. All I got left is the cockpit and the right intake engine, and that's it. So I was just floating there. I couldn't turn, maneuver, anything. And at the time, I didn't get the eject controls working. I knew the buttons, but apparently what I didn't know is I had to hit both buttons at once. It wasn't just either or.
Yep.
So for a while, I just sat there as a target, just kind of floating in space.
Now, with the Hornet, is it? I heard something was going on with the power plant. It wasn't delivering enough power to the weapon, shield, and engine. So if you're moving forward and you're getting shot at, you probably can't shoot that much. You guys have the same issue?
Hard to say. It did seem like sometimes I would blow through a lot of ammo without hitting the target. And I knew all about the, make sure you turn. You've got the little diamond that makes sure that lets you know the guns are directly on your target. And yet it still seems like I could kill stuff a lot quicker flying the 300 than I could flying the Hornet.
Hornet has a lot more weapons and it's busier fighter. But how about the Aurora? Have any of you tried the Aurora?
It's not a fighter.
I haven't even seen it in
I
my
haven't
hangar
tried it.
yet.
Yeah.
I've got two in my
I-
hangar somehow.
Oh, you have to give one to one of these other two guys here.
You can have it. It's okay. I was thinking about doing the chassis upgrade, paying the $80 to upgrade straight to the F7 FC or whatever. The not the Ghost one, but whatever. The Hornet.
The military version?
Right. I was
I've
thinking
got
about
one of
doing that.
those.
Yeah.
Thamin, you do as well, don't you? Have one of the military ones, the Hornets.
Yeah, I've got the Super Hornet. I've got that in there too. I have not tried to see what would happen if I put the helmet on and get in the Super Hornet.
How How were you able to capture the screenshots?
There is a screenshot key, and I believe it's F12. Let me go back and look.
Because all I got was black, big black.
It's not even on my layout here. I believe F12 is the screenshot key. I mean, a person could go into Fraps or Overwolf or something and set up some screenshots that way. I've done that in the past with my hanger, but F12 I believe was what I used, and then I had to go in the user folder to look for them.
Do you guys think when you're getting shot, that's a good enough reticle? Because it has little red triangles show up on your top left hand corner where your ship is, and to me that's not a good enough indication. I like to know where my shields are getting weaker, even if it's just front or aft. Just want to know.
Usually it's screaming that information at me because I'm getting blasted. I haven't had a problem telling where I'm getting hit because it's telling me in a loud voice. Because I got, one of them just nailing me.
The voice is only male, or do you have female voice?
A
Both at the
female.
same time.
Get a female voice.
Really?
Seems like.
I haven't heard the male
I mean,
voice.
there is a male voice from the other Hornet pilot helping you out. If Vixen gets killed, they'll say, "Oh, we've lost an ally." Means Vixen got killed. If you hear the male voice do that, so that's about the only male voice I've heard in there. Otherwise, yes, I don't always notice when I'm getting shot up. If it's obvious, like if it's hitting in front of me, I can see the shields.
Yeah.
My vision get weird. But normally, if it's behind me or something, I usually only hear when the computer starts telling me my shields are 50% or something like that.
Your shields are down or critical, and you see all these flashing red lights going past you on both sides. Like, oh, I guess I'm getting shot at. Let me turn around.
How about the? Oh, go ahead, Arleeya.
I was just going to say all you're going to hear is "Arr!" And that was the voice that was telling you about the shields. It got killed.
Another thing I did test though, when I finally got the eject working, it seemed like you have endless lives as long as you eject. If you're blown up in the ship, you lose a life. If you keep ejecting, you keep getting a ship. It seemed like that anyway. I don't know if that's a bug or not, but once I got the eject down pat, there was one game I made last a very long time with a lot of ejections. And I also found out in the elite boss waves, there was at least twice in which the first one, Little King, comes out, and I was able to get a missile lock on him and one-shot him with missiles and those right away.
I've seen Little King, the Priest, Hunters, which take more than one missile to take down. Of course, I'm just shooting my Aurora ones, so they might just be weaker.
The Aurora
I've been
missiles
able
are
to-
supposed to be better, I think,
Oh, okay.
to compensate.
Supposedly, yeah. Every time I have hit some with a missile with mine, I've one-shotted it. Now there could be exceptions because I know I fired off a missile at the priest, which didn't finish him. So I don't know if he avoided it or if it just didn't finish him.
Well, it says how much damage it does, and mine have done 1100, 1200, something like that. And the Hunters just keep on going, so.
The other. Trying to think. I actually kind of lost my train of thought because I was going to ask something. I think it was still along those lines. What do you guys think? Because I thought, it's kind of bad if I can one-shot one of the elites with a missile.
Yeah, but you have to have missiles by that point to do that, so...
Nobody
That's an
blows all
issue.
4 missiles on the first 3 enemies, dude.
Well, no, on the first one, because I got to take 4 shots at him before I get him.
Memo, didn't you say you were going to ram into them? Where was the ramming in part?
I don't have a Van Duel scythe. When I have one of those, it's built for ramming. Believe me,
Okay.
when I ram in the Hornet, a chunk comes off. It's not pretty.
They keep on
Collision
saying
warning.
collision warning, yeah, and they keep turning away. I'm expecting to go through half my ship or something. I mean, granted, I do
Collision
ramming
warning.
when I lose my weapons, and that's so much fun to shoot with flying around with 4 rockets attached. Woo!
And we have flown into a few of those. I've known. It seems like the Van Duel tend to hang around the terraforming laser as well, like they want you to fly into that thing, and you fly close to it. At the very least, even if you don't actually collide with it, it starts shaking your ship up.
Yeah, the AI is not that great. but they at least engage one at a time to each target. When they get four or more in their squad, they tend to send one or two more ships after you. So it'd be better to take off one of the weaker ones and get down to 1v1 dogfight.
Yeah, I have noticed if you're unable to get the main bad guys with missiles, they are movers and shakers. They're a lot harder to
Yeah,
hit.
they are very hard to get. I haven't had much luck destroying with the other weapons. Although I do eventually get there unless I get torn to pieces.
And the forums did a 180. There were a lot of people. We were there doing a lot of complaints because when they said the release date, they backed it up, they backed it up, they backed it up. And even when they had the final day, then they weren't telling us anything. It's frustrating, we weren't prepared for it. But then when it came out, all of a sudden everyone was like, "Yeah, they were great. They were loving it. I loved it."
There were still some connection issues on the original download, and however, I have to be honest, I wasn't sure if this machine, the drive was one of the problems with it. But
Yeah, I had some problems with the first builds as well, but this last build's running really smooth. Even the movement, I was having a lot of problems with. I was like walking through molasses, going through the hangar, even on run. It was like, and now they've cleared that up. They've tweaked a bunch of stuff. I mean, they're on top of shaping it as problems come in, like the deal with the helmet. I had to ask someone, I forget which one of you told me, I had to ask about, why can't I play? Well, you got to pick this helmet up. I'm like, okay, and they moved my helmet from like a little alcove in the dark and put it right in front of me, so I have to walk by it to even get to any of the ships in the deluxe hangar.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I mean, they're
glad.
listening to what the people want. Make it easier for us. We can't find the helmet. I
The
don't know what
deluxe
it's like.
hangar was pretty cool when it was for free. I like that. Is that little scooter coming real useful at the end in the last bay? It looked like there was like a jump and you drive through a wall of televisions and a flaming hoop and stuff.
I don't know. The scooter is something you got to get. Doesn't come with the hangar.
it's
I don't.
That's
20,000
right.
UCs.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Yeah, for everyone out there, this kind of tips into our later stories. For next great starship, we'll have pictures coming up that show the Redeemer and the Boom Slang inside those hangars. We all had the high-priced hangar to check them out, but with all that, man, I was wishing I had that buggy. It was a long walk down that
Yeah,
hall.
I might need to
It was.
invest in that because I've got the deluxe hangar, and I'm sure Arleeya has the deluxe hangar as well.
Yeah, I have it.
Is your hangar extremely crowded, or?
Well, no. What happens is it's very long. It looks like it has at least 13 bay doors. So that's 13 times 3. And but riding in the buggy or running with the molasses issue that we had, it took like I'd say about 10 minutes to get from one end to the other of
Wow.
real
And
time.
from what I found out, there's several elevators, but if you go up
Mhm.
one, that's the one you have to come back down. The others won't open for you, so you got to walk all the way back.
No,
Hmm.
the other ones were that you could open the door on the original hangars and the lift would come up. Now they've enclosed the lift because someone probably said you have thrust. Who's coming down the hangar? And you're just going to fry them as they're coming down. And so they fixed that. However, there are some issues. It's just a very long upstairs. The In the corner when you first come down into the hangar itself and you make a right, they have that wall. Then you see your back hangar, the short hangars. And if you go upstairs, you have your fish tank, you have all the little stuff, and it's right there. But if you go all the way down to the other end of the hangar, you'll find your other poster that you may have purchased.
Way to spread it out, guys.
All right.
Yeah, it's out there.
It needs rooms. Well, I think we should get into the next part of the show here, which is a big reveal that we've had as well. We finally have the Freelancer commercial and all the variants for that. So I've got the commercial, which I'm going to queue up in a moment here. I'll open it up with what the brochure opens up with because we all get the nice brochure from MISC whatever that stands for.
Musashi.
I'm looking to Arleeya because I know who knows what that stands for.
Musashi space flight concern.
There you go.
There's-
See, I don't have to remember what it stands for. I've got Arleeya right here.
We just call it Missy.
All right, 2944 Miss Freelancer. Life is a challenge. From the unforgiving abyss of space to the harsh conditions of atmospheric flight, your ship will have to suffer the extremes and everything in between. Couple that with the responsibility of transporting someone else's property. You need a ship that's dependable, enduring, and capable of handling all the obstacles that life can throw at you. Challenge accepted. All right. So I'm going to queue up that commercial here, and I believe the narrator here, the Star Citizen community, seems to be pointing at Lance Henriksen. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So
I don't know. I like Lance Hendrickson, but he's got to be reaching towards 80.
yeah.
He'll make it
Does
for
sound
this
like him.
game.
So I don't get to see his voice more, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over to that. And here is the Freelancer commercial.
A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. You know you've got 42 cubic meters to pack full of profit. We're talking pressurized and shock-resistant construction, so whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got two Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your sig low. You come across a couple of pirates.
Hey, Lancer, you know the drill.
But with a weapons system featuring trusted names like Bering and Kronik, you aren't too worried.
Commercial vessel, Freelancer class. Rig tags look good. Cleared for landing at Area 18.
You're the one they come to when they need a job done right. Because you trust one ship. Miss Freelancer. Built for life.
That little part at the end. So, what do y'all think of the style of that commercial?
Makes me want to get one, just like all their commercials, and that's pretty sweet.
I was really surprised on the maneuverability of the ship and the two engines, the two arc reactors, whatever they are, that they're able to actually actuate and move. That was pretty sweet. I didn't see that coming.
There's a couple of things that I noticed about this commercial. One is the jump animation of the drive that comes with the Freelancer, and the fact that if you happen to be a pirate, don't pull up alongside.
Yeah. Come in from above, below, but stay away from those sides. There's rockets and lasers.
And I was kind of surprised how it moved too. I mean, I haven't. That commercial did look like a pickup commercial. You expect out of Ford or Chevy. It had that feel to it. And that's kind of how I see the Freelancer. I didn't really see it too often being able to point the gun at a small ship hassling it as wanting the rear turret.
The ship reminds me a little bit of the Wing Commander movie, The Diligent, in that regard, like a torpedo type ship or something like that. When I first saw it in the hangar and walked inside, and they eventually adjusted and changed it, it changed. You could see the physical based rendering and how it went from being kind of like a little model into something that feels more tangible. It's a nice ship, and with that front view that has changed, it opens it up so you have better visibility. It's a very good ship.
And this is a ship that the backers were able to do a lot of voting to help decide the final look and layout for it, as well as giving a little feedback when we didn't like the first iteration and they wanted to change it again.
I also do like the 3 different loadouts you can get. The military one, which is one that's supposed to carry more missiles and stuff. It's just a missile pod. That's all it is. It's limited edition, so if you want the limited stuff, get it now, or you'll never see it again unless it's shooting you.
Yeah, I'm
Then
going to
they
go
got
ahead and
the,
throw.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm going to put them up on the screen here in order. I've actually got the. I'm going to start with the Freelancer DUR, DUR DUR.
Durability.
I suppose I didn't think about that.
Long duration explorer.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is the first choice of Freelancer models they had. These don't surprise me, and I would imagine they have very similar ones for the Constellation. I guess we'll see. The first one does have less cargo. It's made for exploration, extra fuel tanks, better jump engine.
Hmm.
It'll go the distance.
And yeah, so this is your long range one. I was very actually tempted to upgrade to this, but I've also throw enough money at the game. I mean, I also have a 300 Explorer, so there's my Explorer right there.
Arleeya would disagree with you.
Well, what
if
I
you
did
want
was
something, you can always borrow it from the Grievance fleet. Arleeya has everything. I mean,
well, what I did was I had the Grand Admiral's package, which gave me a miss and a regular freelancer. I bought 2 additional freelancers for the possible upgrades. So all I had to do was go with the DUR and the Max.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe you didn't pick me up a Vandal Scythe. You decided that was the one you were going to skip.
I didn't get into that. I wasn't there for that.
Remember, that's the one ship he doesn't have.
I know. That's why I like to poke at him about it. If it comes up again, I will get one because it has my play style in mind just by design.
Don't worry.
All
When
right,
you get the
I am
Go ahead.
showing, by the way, now the Freelancer Max. This is the one that's not unexpected. This one is the dedicated trade hauler. It says sacrifices weaponry for additional cargo space, and it does have some extra engines on it, 4 instead of 2. And this one, to me, looks like also a completely different hull. Like, I'm kind of wondering if you were to buy right now, it's a matter of changing the package, what freelancer you bought. But I'm betting in the game, if you didn't start out with this hull, it's probably not so easy to upgrade.
I don't know.
Well,
Hopefully
time will
anything's going to
tell.
be possible in game.
So I'm going to comment on this one more. Sorry, I was muted for a sec because I do like several things about this. I was considering it in the game, and the one thing I was worried about was all the cargo space. And fine, it says it you don't have the missiles, but at least according to the brochure, it doesn't have the turret. And I'm like, why would I want to buy this thing, a dedicated cargo hauler, not a dogfighter, and not have the rear turret? And yet, it's a change too. If you look in the ship specs page, it says turret available. If you look in the hangar, the turret's actually there, but there are also missiles on the wings in the hangar, which aren't supposed to be there. This is one of the confusing things about SIG right now is sometimes the ship spec page doesn't match what we're seeing in the hangar, and blah blah blah.
it'll all get updated by release. This ship is, I would say, one of your beginning ships to go out and do your hauling. You're not going to go out with a Banu merchantman that carries 6,000 cargo units or 9,000 cargo units. This is just to run around in and just, I found this item that was just drifting next to this ejected pilot that I inadvertently shot earlier.
And I'm going to show everybody the last one here, the limited option. So this is the Freelancer Miss MIS, and this is the militarized one that they say limited edition. This is also oh, go ahead.
Yeah, how would you like to pull up next to that thinking, wow, I have me a fat cargo hauler here, and then realize, no, that's not the cargo version. That is the weapons platform. Well, so much for that.
Well, I just hope that you can change all the color specs. If you keep them all the same color, then it will confuse someone who's not paying attention.
I want
And-
your cargo, not the
And
missiles.
the funny thing with this one is they were selling just the skin, just the color scheme as separate, also a limited edition. So if you want to be a cargo hauler but look like you're the missile boat, and there you go.
That'd
No,
be a
that's
good
the
idea,
upgrade.
too.
The upgrade is changes out your standard hull for this.
Oh, there's
just like
another
we
one
did-
too.
But there
Oh,
is
there's
where
another-
you can just buy the skin alone. So instead of
Yep.
buying the miss, you're basically just buying the paint job.
Okay. Oh, and they're still selling it for $180. So you get your little brown coat, the UEE coat. I think it has a reference to the old Starfire, not Starfly. It was a TV show with Nathan Fallon.
Firefly?
Firefly.
How can you forget Firefly?
It wasn't that bright.
Look.
Whatever, Whoop, you're too young.
Yeah, I did
Story
think the
time.
commercial also, before I thought of it as a truck commercial, I thought the Freelancer commercial also kind of felt Firefly-ish, hauling and doing it. But I bet you
Yeah.
the Constellation commercial, when it comes out, is probably
Yeah.
going to be more that
Well,
directed.
the Aurora commercial kind of reminded me of the family station wagon, commercial for a station wagon. You can haul stuff in it. You can take the family to the beach. You can mount rockets on it. Just like the family truckster.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
some ice cream. Yay!
Question 2. Now, what do you think? What they were telling us is that of the original ships, now the Constellation and the Cutlass have their commercials and variants coming. I think Arleeya was saying earlier it's going to be the Constellation next. Do we see the exact same 3 kind of variants for the Constellation or something else?
I'm thinking there were 3 variants for the Freelancer. I think there's only 2 variants for the Constellation, or possibly 3. I've got the 2 that come with the Grand Admiral, and then I purchased an additional 2, so I think it's 4. What I'm thinking is what they've done with the Constellation, they have updated it, and we're going to start seeing that as it is released. I think the fighter is removed from one of them for a cargo difference. I think we're
I
going
want
to
to
see.
see them replace the Merlin with a Hornet. That would be a nice upgrade.
What I've always thought that ship should have is, instead of the Merlin underneath, but put them in like 2 pods off to the side where the engines are, or a top and bottom, and make it like a
If
mini
you've
carrier.
Have you been in one of the Constellations?
Yeah.
Okay, you
The only
actually
one-
access the Merlin from the back.
No.
Yeah, you can look down into it. The actual canopy is sticking up through the bottom of the ship.
Yeah, you can look in, but you can't actually open it up and get down
Not
there.
right now, but you will be. That's how you'll get into it during game. I mean, you can't get into it that way now, but I mean that would be the only way to access it to make it of any use would be through the ship.
I might take
Retaliator.
one wild guess and just imagine that I wonder if one of their variants might have something other than a detachable craft at all.
Well,
Yes.
one of them go for more
Replace for some other
firepower,
really
one of
nice
them go
thing.
for more cargo. Is what I would probably think they'd do with it. I mean, as I've mentioned on other shows, the bathroom on those things is ginormous. I don't think there's any other ship, even the big ships, that have that big of a facilities on them.
I'm not going to have bathroom envy because the door doesn't work on that thing.
The
Go ahead.
the Retaliator won the next commercial spot that
Oh,
they're
really?
going to do. Yeah.
I really want to see a Constellation commercial.
I can go ahead and zip right down to those pictures now. I have the slideshow for
Let's
the
see them.
Retaliator. Here we go. Get those running for folks.
That's the bombing ship, or is that the opposite of the Caterpillar?
This was the big bomber.
Okay.
This, and so it's interesting to see what people will make out of it because, I mean, it sounded like folks would like redesign them and make them into other stuff, and I kind of
Modular.
wonder. So, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, you can still imagine there's got to be some kind of militarized, huge weapons on this thing. I mean, the top view there shows space for 3 top turrets. And of course, there's a big bay to drop some huge bombs.
Or it could be used as a nice apartment. This is
I wonder that too. You could maybe make it some kind of luxury vehicle just for the status of having it.
this
Yeah, it's got a lot of interior space in it for sure.
this Retaliator looks a lot like the Prometheus
Mm.
with the front engines that rotate for landing and stuff. More so than the Constellation. But then again, it's also atmospheric with the wing structure.
Yeah. We can probably get into talking lead up to kind of like why we're seeing that. Hang on here. All right. Basically, it was one of the questions they'd asked folks as far as the reason we're showing this is they asked us what commercial we want to see after the Constellation and the Cutlass. You know, which ship do we want to see? And I was going for the Avenger. I thought it had a good chance of winning, but it was apparently this ship and the Avenger were neck and neck, and then all of a sudden they said last minute the Retaliator blew it away and won the voting. So, folks, after you see the Constellation and the Cutlass commercials, expect to see something on the Retaliator there.
Nice.
So, that does bring us to, you know what? Before I bring the announcement, say, Arleeya, you sent me a picture.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and put that up here.
This is the 890.
Was that luxury ship that was talked about by, I think
Yes.
by RSI? I imagine it's RSI looking at the doors. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Okay. Very luxurious looking. You can see the stars
Wow.
going by up top the ceiling there.
I just hope all those items are battened down, like bolted.
That's one of those ships you get after you have everything else, and you're like, look how much money I have. I have one of these. That's what that is. That's a vanity ship.
So it looks like, and we don't have any other
Yeah,
pictures
exactly.
aside from
What
this.
Steel Grievance goes, what would you do with that? That's one of those things, Steel, you get when you have all this money and you don't know what to do with it, which I, in games, never have that much money to where I don't know what to do with it.
But it's like, is that exercise equipment in the background?
That's what it kind of looks like, but I don't
Yeah.
think so. These are
That
just
does.
more
That
chairs.
looks like stationary
a-
bikes and treadmills.
That's a glass table though in the middle, so it's gotta be like a dining table.
I do admit, yes. Why entertain folks in your hangar when your ship can look this luxurious and entertain them there until the pirates attack?
Just leave this in your hangar because it looks better than the furniture you're going to be able to put in.
You already have one of those, don't you, Arleeya?
No.
No. It's on
not
the list,
available.
though, isn't it?
Actually, no. I prefer ships that are a little bit more modular.
Functional.
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do? Sit on the couch there when I could sit at home on the couch or in this chair?
Functional.
Place yourself sitting on a couch while sitting on a couch.
Functional.
Yeah.
Functional.
Functional.
Idris frigate. What are you planning on doing with that?
It's functional.
It is
That's what-
functional. It's
That's so Steelheart can
intimidating.
just
Functional is what the function
All-
points at.
lots
Which,
of other guilds are not going to have an Idris, so we have an Idris.
which made me think too when we
Stack.
looked at that missile boat freelancer for an individual. I don't see that as worth much. You gotta put that to a job. But for guilds to have a bunch of those to go into a fight, take a space station, I can see the use right there.
Oh
Two
yeah.
waves of 5 of them just launching missiles at something and take out anything. You get a couple of fighter squadrons around it. Yeah.
Well, I think what we'll do is we'll have Memo drive the Idris.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Uh oh.
What?
I can see Whoops on board already with that. He's thinking, yeah, that'll be fun.
Medbay now.
All right, folks. All right, we're going to the next thing here because yes, we have a lot to cover in this show, and we're boy, we're already getting long, but a lot of stuff we need to go over still. 45 million hit, 46 million hit, but at the time we started, 45 million hit, and they said, and that was at the time the freelancer came out. Needless to say, then it pushed up to 46 million. So I think they attracted a lot of extra people into the game, and a lot of people, sank money into the freelancer. Um, Now, what this unlocked, an item that has some very cool plans for exactly what it will kick off in the persistent universe, but you'll have to explore to find the details. The Hadesian artifact.
Hmm.
So this is a replicated artifact down to replicating the unidentified symbols along the base that everyone's going to have in the game. It's going to lead to some big mystery in the game. So they've left us a mystery right off the bat, wondering how they're going to implement that.
Gesundheit.
Pardon me.
Bless you.
So I like that. I look forward to that stuff too.
And then, of course, the engine tuning kit, which was the next one we got within a week at 46 million.
Yeah,
Yep,
that sounds
Final
really
Flare
cool.
Award voted for the engine tuning kit. Whitley's latest Seal of the Year issue. This kit comes with everything the fledgling engineer needs to take a deeper look into the mechanics of their engine. It's one of the things I was looking forward to.
And the voting was for updated scanning software. That was the final stretch goal.
And then this was the one where they'd asked us, and people voted on the Retaliator for the next commercial. Updated.
Yeah, I'm just excited that there's going to be a Constellation one because that is going to be, that's going to be an epic commercial when you have a ship that's described as a cross between the Serenity and the Millennium Falcon. What kind of commercial is that going to be? That's going to be blending two of the best sci-fi epics of all time.
I'll also say as we're going through this again, thank you. We've got a nice crowd live here. I know most people watch this; it's already in YouTube, but join us live. We got comments going on. Like as soon as they talked about Memo driving the Idris, there was some laughter on that on the boards, and
What?
Woopnyo here typing in, "I always wear my spacesuit."
That's
So,
right.
Folks, you missed that when you're
It's
not
got
watching
his
this live.
depends in it just for those occasions.
All right, now here's the next big question that was still out that he put out at 46 million. Should they continue to offer stretch goals? He said,
Absolutely.
kind of in my words, not his, harder to quantify the extras. They've already vastly expanded the scope of the original game. And you get people who are looking at this game, looking at how much money it's making, how much money. It seems sometimes hard to say, this one stretch goal will give you this, will give you that. So he was asking about it, and I will tell you, most people are saying yes, we want stretch goals. There are a few that are saying no, and they are saying it because they want to concentrate on what they're making already, not work too many extras into it. But the poll's up now. You can go into the forums and let your opinion be heard.
54% yes at 30,457 votes.
Now let's see.
Voted no. Okay.
And, there was the announcement, too, as far as the rollouts coming for multiplayer. Again, only a small amount. Since, for those of you watching the show live, we know you didn't make it. You'd be out there playing right now. I don't want to be playing it. But, yeah, again, it is a small amount of people. But we're all looking forward to it and still go kill the Vandal and get good at doing that.
Mhm.
All right. Let's go ahead over this next set of pictures. And this is basically, I'm jumping down to the next great starship. Because, like I say, we had large deluxe hangars. They put the Redeemer and the Boomslang, the two top ships, in there so we could take a look at them. Now, this is from my hangar, wishing I had that buggy. This is the Redeemer. And so this is from Four Horsemen. This is the one that won the contest. They got the big bucks for this ship here.
It's pretty sweet. You can see down in the bottom there's springs that for the landing gear. It's pretty well modeled. I like the way things are like put together. There's modules of it, and you can see where certain parts fit together and rotate. It's pretty awesome. Just wish you can get inside.
The
Yeah,
hangar here was very dark,
Yeah.
even in mine.
It's the paint.
I'm used to the business hangar too. Nice, bright white paint all over the place. It's you can see in that hangar.
But
But
also
yeah,
make a
I
good
was
prop
going
ship.
all over this ship too, looking for the entry to it.
Well, there's a door underneath the cockpit, underneath the lower, what you call it, turret, I guess. Where you would
It
sit.
comes in from the aft end. It has like a tunnel that goes into that turret, but to get to the actual cockpit, you have to go through another way
Mm.
from the back door. Everything comes in through the back door on the Redeemer.
Now, okay, I'm not going to touch that. Now, somebody in the chat, the live chat, is also saying they voted
Damon's
no,
not touching it.
and that is true. What happened was, I think there was only a total of about 7,000 votes in, because during the show they opened up the website for the voting, and the website crashed, and a lot of people were upset with that. A lot of people wanted to vote. There were definitely a lot of people who wanted. I will show you now the Boomslang. I'll show you the pictures of that here. I'm
These
trying to
look great.
remember, was this Shard Collective?
Yes.
Okay. So Shard Collective got second place with the Boomslang here.
Also
And
a good
also, yes, very nice. I love the look of both these ships.
That thing that's sticking out over the cockpit, is that an antenna? Or is that for fuel?
antenna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of people were making some remarks about that one too.
Looks almost
And
like
this
a
thing
refueling
has the
port.
wheels in the cockpit
Mhm.
that looks like it's that you have two person above and below type cockpit, like a
Like a
Comanche
hind.
or
Yeah.
yeah, more like a hind actually.
Yeah, yeah, both in front. Over on the Redeemer, there was like a lower gun near the front. You could get up and kind of slick into the window of that when you're walking around the hangar.
Mhm.
Alright.
Why
Go for
didn't
it.
they
I'm
allow
gonna come
us?
back to. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, why didn't they allow us to walk inside the ships to better vote for them, based on what we seen on the inside? The outside,
I would have liked to. I have a theory that I think the Boomslang wasn't finished on the inside, and I think the Redeemer was. I suppose maybe they were doing that out of fairness, because if you can walk in one and not the other, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I think I.
well, I'm thinking what's going to happen is we're going to definitely see the Redeemer come out in the game, but later on, I'm sure that the Boomsling is going to somehow be out there in the verse for us.
Probably. Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
Invasion of kids over there. So we're getting kind of close to the bottom here. It's going to wrap things up. You know, we got a few things to go over again. If you're in the channel, in the live chat, got any questions, feel free to throw them out here. The monthly update came out. So, and this was about Arena Commander. Now, a lot of this stuff didn't apply because we got to play it, but there are a few things we picked up here. Okay, the Constellation variants should be done around the end of June, and they're also gearing up for
forward
Gamescom
to those.
event. And let's see. So they have Gamescom coming up. Plenty of convention appearances. Updated the ship specs twice in 1 month. Let's see. Foundry 42, continuing working on the UEE capital ships we will see in Squadron 42, the Javelin, Panther, and Bengal. I don't think I've seen too much anything with the Javelin or the Panther yet, at least not the names.
You haven't played Squadron 42 yet.
It's on my to-do list. Also start work on a rescue utility vehicle. There's another, a studio, BHVR. I think I heard of this one. Asteroid hangars in beta testing. Soon you should be able to add specialty rooms to your hangar, and a solid look and feel coming together with the Moby Glass. Maybe we'll be able to see that in our hangar soon, the Moby Glass. Alright. The Idris is on target for an early fall delivery, as well as a male Explorer suit to be completed in June. I thought it interesting, there was another site in this monthly update that was working on the first-person shooter, but the site's name it redacted.
Yeah.
There is a secret branch of our organization working on this one.
The company is going to show some of the FPS at the Gamescom. So we'll be able to see some of that, which will probably draw more of the people in who like the first-person shooter aspect.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see, Turbulent Montreal working on data for compiling your leadership scores, and the citizen dossiers will be getting new art layout. All right. Well, I have a 10 for the chairman. I'll try to run through it real quick because we're getting close to an hour on the show here. Shrike asked with their small organization if they can park in another player's hangar, and Chris Roberts did kind of shoot that down. The player's got a hangar, organization has a hangar, but your friend can't park there. Although with the number of organizations you could join, he always said you could have two people have their own sub-organization and their ships could share that one. So he threw that out. Racing and G-Force. The Intelligent Flight Control System has a G-Safe mode, but and control stabilization at drift through a turn. So Chris Roberts imagines racers will be turning these safeties off and pushing the envelope on the verge of blackouts, and they'll add to the system. I can see it adding to the system, and Memo, don't race.
Hey, I might have found my calling there. Unlimited fast speed, jacking the engines up, exploding.
The only call you'll be getting is your family. Oh, he's dead.
Running out of
Gosh.
fuel.
Yep.
Oh, here, Stoof asked if players may have missions that involve a combination of space dogfights and planetside missions, like Return of the Jedi. Chris Roberts said he wasn't sure about planetside. There will be cases of space-based dogfighting, coupled with first-person shooters like in boarding actions to disable a ship. They talked briefly about mods. Any mod that is only cosmetic, they'll likely be okay with it. If a mod seems to give you an unfair advantage, that would be bannable. Very situational, the use of the mod. I thought it was interesting how the Kickstarters kind of team up. They've had their partnership with Warhorse, who's making Deliverance, and Star Citizen is learning from them how they dress their characters better, as well as how nicely they're visually equipping their characters. Warhorse has ways of dressing their characters in multiple layers. So the game industry helping out each other there, the Kickstarters. All right. It does say for those who subscribe for a year and get their name in-game, it's in a rather obvious place on a monument. So to go see your name, all you gotta do is visit the monument. It's not hidden. All ships that fit in the Deluxe will fit in the asteroid hangar. Ways you can enter the citizenship. Aside from military service, you can enter by buying your way in with enough money, or by mission job-based method, taking jobs for the UEE and earning points doing that. Uh, person asked about balance. He said they are striving for a certain balance, but the ships are different. Um, I suppose if you're out in the persistent universe, yes, an Aurora is definitely going to have a tough time against a Hornet. In the dogfight, they have to balance it more, but they also handicap them. They are also making them worth different points. So if you take out a Hornet, you earn more points than taking out an Aurora.
Nice.
Or a Mustang.
Organizations will also have a reputation in the way they interact with other organizations. Ships will have predetermined places where they can be breached. You can't just enter anywhere.
That just makes sense.
You can't get too close to a star. If you stubbornly point and approach a star, you'll fry you and your ship.
That's just physics. Come on.
Chris Roberts did say in the past you can get a loan to buy your first ship. So folks who can somehow resist buying this wonderful eye candy key they keep throwing at us, you can get a loan to buy your ship in game.
Hey, Arleeya.
Mm-hmm.
Cyborg limbs can get damaged and would have to be healed through cybernetic repair facilities. Bigger capital ships will have that. It sounds like pirates and smugglers will have organic quest generators too for their illegal lifestyles. And it is possible for an organization as a whole to gain a reputation for anti-UEE behavior and then can be attacked by UEE forces. So, big message to organizations there. If you have quite a lot of pirates and illegal stuff going on, and some of your guys hanging out in UEE space might suddenly be, uh-oh.
Well, what other organizations are going to be there as big as the UEE? So that way you can play one side versus the other. If you're going to be a pirate, you're going to want to work on your faction with the other side, so that way the UEE doesn't destroy you.
True. It does seem like as organizations, though, it might be a little harder to toe the balance in between them. But it's not impossible because it's the individual pilots have an effect, and who knows? If you still got a lot of people doing the lawful thing for the UEE and just as many doing the illegal side, it probably neutralizes itself out for the organization anyway. I think that was pretty much mostly it.
All
right, so folks, again, our next show is going to be the 28th. I will not be there, so I don't know who's going to be hosting. After our get-together.
He's going to be playing a game.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Stuck working. But hopefully when I get home from work, I'll be able to dogfight.
You guys all going to the get-together next weekend?
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Going to the get-together. I was going to say, Grievance having the real-life get-together this weekend coming up, so after the next show, that next show will be after we have our fun time out there.
Just so you guys know, we went to Flounders last year. I think we're going there again this year. And Night Angel can drink one of those big old things, whatever, in like 4 seconds. I've seen her done.
Nice. It was really hot, though. I mean, any cold beverage was nice. And you know, with the size of the group we had eating the restaurant, and you had to get your cold drinks when you could get them.
I think I had like the Bushwhacker or something. I was gonna go this year, but family. So
yeah.
All right, folks. So that's important things to Grievance. Like I say, we've got the live show. We've got a lot of Twitch casts going on a variety of games out there. Check out our YouTube channel. All these games. Check us out, grievancegaming.org. And like I say, yes, we have real life get-togethers on the Gulf of Mexico and Florida with a bacon explosion. You want to Google that.
There might be a video of that online.
All right.
And happy Father's Day to everyone. It'll be the 15th in the U.S.
All right, folks.
Tomorrow.
Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you
Yes,
again.
thanks, folks.
See you in the verse.
See you guys.